Bryn CFL veteran with the Alouettes 2012 to 2015. He was with the Rough Riders in 26. That's where I got to know him. And with the Eskimos 2017 to present. That's what his Wikipedia page says. His dad is pro rodeo cowboy legend Mark Roy. He's an Alberta product, went to Texas A&M Commerce, and he joins us today on video chat. How you doing, Bryn?
I'm good, Rod. How are you today?
Good. Long time no talk. Our mutual friend Jack tells me that you're in Louisiana. Is that the deal? What's going on with you right now?
Yeah, I'm down south.
What's going on in your life?
Well, to be honest, I've been in training camp. I've been getting ready for for kind of whatever comes next. In my life, I obviously staying in shape and staying ready. I've been steer wrestling. I've been getting ready for rodeo. Trying to stay patient and see what's going to happen with this world and kind of where we're going and what direction we're going in. Obviously, it's kind of got everything at a standstill, but it's been good because I've been able to kind of seclude myself. I'm on a ranch right now, so I haven't really gone anywhere. My life is pretty normal, to be honest. I haven't really had to go to town. Haven't had to do much. Just been in the practice pen every day and staying in shape and training.
Okay, good for you. And for those that don't know, Bryn, you should follow him on Twitter, by the way. He's entertaining on there. His Twitter bio at one time said, born with a rope in one hand and a football in the other. Does it still say that, Bryn? Have you changed it?
I think it may still say that. If it doesn't, I may have to go back to it now that I know I got some love on it.
Well, I saw it. I should have brought it up to you. But I've been laughing because raised on a farm family, mixed farm, I said farmers have been self-isolating for 100 years. This is nothing for them, and it's obviously very similar for you down there. But let me ask you this about your workouts for football, because I know you want to keep playing football. Do you have some sort of home gym out there, or how are you working on your football conditioning?
Oh, my gosh. You wouldn't – I mean, ingenuity is the one word I would use to describe it, because I was laughing at myself last night. I mean, I'm getting solid workouts in. But it is not the way you would see in any gym across the country. I got a 10-foot long 4-inch pipe over here that I do my military press with, and I can do some biceps with it. Then I've got pipes that are cut off a little bit shorter that I can do my shoulder complex and stuff. I do inverted rows. I've been following a lot of workouts and stuff like that on like Beachbody app and stuff like that. And then we've got a lot of hills around here. And so I run a lot of hills. I'm running hills and staying in shape that way, and a lot of jumping rope in the barn. And man, it's like I said, where there's a motto I've always kind of followed is where there's a will, there's a way. And there's always been a will. So you just got to find the way.
Good for you. Well, by the way, just looking at your surroundings right now, I'm so jealous because it looks beautiful. What's the closest town to where you're at in Louisiana?
I'm about 20 miles from Ruston, which is where Louisiana Tech University is. And so last year I was actually down here because my career was kind of in limbo again, where I didn't have a contract, and so I was preparing for rodeo. And I was down here and doing the same thing, training and everything like that. And of course, the world wasn't under a lockdown, so I was in town using their facilities every day and running on the field and working out. And so they were gracious enough to allow me to do that. So it was awesome. And then obviously now, there's a different style of workout going on.
No kidding. CFL veteran Bryn with us from Louisiana, just outside Ruston, Louisiana. I'm looking at your Wikipedia here, and I tell you what, if you have your own Wikipedia page, you're a big enough deal, right? And Bryn was drafted by the Alouettes 5th round of the 2012 draft. I mentioned that he spent 12, 13, 14, 5, 4 seasons there, but you came to the Riders in 2016. Last season in Old Taylor Field, first season under Chris Jones. Can you talk about your time with the Riders, Bryn, and what was memorable for you?
Playing with the Saskatchewan Rough Riders was possibly, it was probably one of the highlights of my career. I had always wanted to play there from the time I was a kid. Prior to me ever playing football, which I started at a young age, I wanted to be a rider. My dad is from rural Saskatchewan, born and raised in Fir Mountain. And so, my grandparents lived there. My aunts and uncles and cousins, everybody lives in Moose Jaw now. And so, my roots, are in Saskatchewan, and we were there often. And so for me to get to wear the green and white, that was something I had always wanted to do. I mean, even to the point where when I was playing in Montreal, I would watch, we'd be watching film, and I would be seeing, some of these guys, and I'm like, man, I can compete there. Or, that would be nice to get there, because I sure like the idea of driving to practice, looking at the canola fields or the wheat fields, as opposed to being in a metro. At the time, I was ready for the country. And so for me to get an opportunity to go there, man, I jumped all over it. And I was actually driving home from the Ponoka Stampede. I was a free agent, and I was not ready for life after football. And I just called Chris Jones. I'd called him and left some voicemails. I mean, I had agents on and off, so far throughout my career, but I've never had an agent get me a job, put it that way. I've signed my own deals and negotiated my own deals and found my own work the whole time. And so I called Chris Jones. We talked. He said he'd get back to me, and later that day he called and said, "Hey, can you come out and work out?" So that was July 12th, I think. I went out to Regina, and I worked out. I got up there a night early, stayed in Moose Jaw with my family, went to Regina in the morning, worked out, and they had said that they weren't going to keep me. They were going to send me home, and I was like, oh, all right, And John Murphy actually had said, I had been snapping at the time as well, and John said, oh, you should hit up Randy Chevrier. He's in Calgary. And then I don't know who it was that came up with the idea, but they said, well, or you can stay and hang around here and train and see what happens, type of thing. So I worked out. I worked out for a long time, kind of there, hoping to get a shot, and then all of a sudden an opportunity came, and I mean, I had a house rented in Lumsden and was down there just kind of staying in shape and ready. And so when I got the call, man, I can't even describe, how good it felt to have a locker and to go in there and then compete for a spot and to play. And man, my very first game as a Saskatchewan Rough Rider was surreal. It was absolutely surreal. It was the Labor Day Classic, and when I heard, that bring them out, that was, man, I had tears running down my eyes when those jets flew over. And so it was unreal. It was cool. And to get to play that season there and, say so long to Taylor Field, it was a cool opportunity. Awesome experience.
No kidding. Well, I don't know if you recall, but I was standing there with those workouts that Jones was putting you and those other guys through after practice. And I'm like, this guy is a worker. He wants it bad. Because for $1 million, yes, I wouldn't do what they were making you do out there, Bryn. And so you proved yourself to me and obviously to Chris Jones then at that time too. Bryn, we do have to roll. I appreciate it. But I know because of all that stuff, you're going to be a success no matter what you do. I hope that you keep in touch. And here's hope that we see you on the field in the CFL in 2020. Here's hoping there's a season.
Thank you. Take care. It was great talking to you.
Bryn Roy joining us from Louisiana today. Great story. Eh? And as I told you guys about watching The Ranch on Netflix, and Clark's watched some of it. You haven't tried it out yet.
No.
I said, all my friends are like Ashton Kutcher in The Ranch. And there's one there. They're just like that.
Same
it's
thing.
Such a great show. God bless these guys coming on and telling their stories. Here's Jerry. She's watching from the Maritimes. She says, I'm not crying. You're crying. It's a hell of a story. And who knew, right?
Yeah.
So we got to get these guys on and tell their stories.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.